April 25th meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission to order. The purpose of the commission is to approve certificates of appropriateness for new construction or major work, and to do so by conducting hearings and findings of fact when applications come before us. Our mission is to take no action except to preserve and approve that which is congruous with the special character of the Village of Pinehurst Historic District. I'll introduce myself. I'm Molly Gwynn. I'm the chair of the commission. On my left, Terry Lertz and Jim McChesney, commissioners. On my right, Eric Von Salson and John Taylor, commissioners. Also on my right, senior planner Kathy Lyles. At the podium, Alex Cameron, senior planner, and Gwendy Hutchins, administrative assistant. Absent today is Tom Schroeder, but we do have a quorum, so we can proceed. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, so anyone desiring to testify must be sworn in, and we are required to consider only facts presented in this hearing. The proceedings are video recorded. The first order of business is to review and approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? Are there any objections or modifications? Any changes that need to be made? Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So,
Jim McChesney has made the motion, and Terry Lertz has seconded the motion. All in favor?
aye.
So the motion has passed to approve the minutes. Now, we are going to enter into the public hearing portion in order to hear COA 1934. So all of you who are engaged in that case, which is the McFarland Road case, and also Kathy Lyles, and also anybody who wishes to speak regarding that case. I need to swear you in. So the...
Do we not need a motion to enter the public hearing?
we do.
I would so move.
Second.
So John Taylor moved and Eric Von Salson seconded to recess the regular meeting and enter the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now we get to the swearing in. And those of you, Kathy and
Michael Etowski.
Michael Etowski. Do you affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Now, I will ask Kathy to present the case. Thank you.
The application before us today is 19-034 for 30 McFarland Road. The request includes the addition of a master bedroom behind the vegetation line. If you're looking at the photos of the property, you'll see that's to the left of the house. Alex, could I ask you maybe to pull up the site plan for me? And also an addition of a garage, a two-bay garage at the end of the existing gravel driveway. It would not result in a new driveway, just a building at the end of the driveway. This qualifies as a major work under our regulations. So one of the things I'd like to do is maybe take a look at the site plan first, and we've got it positioned so you can see McFarland Road sits at the top. So you'll see that the existing structure has a more predominant presence to the road, with the addition being subordinate to that position on the, if you're looking at the drawing on the right-hand side. It will extend the width of the building. We typically look for these structures to be placed to the rear. However, I would note that they do have an existing vegetation line that they propose to remove and to landscape back into that area. At the end of the driveway, you'll see where the garage is positioned. Alex, if you would go to the next slide, please. This is, we're going to jump to the garage first, since that's what's in there first. And if you want to flip to your staff report. So garages are typically single bay located in the rear yard. This definitely is located in the rear yard with a double bay. It says the proportions should be compatible with the main house and should use traditional form and material for the district. And since the applicant is here, I think it would be very good if he speaks to the materials that will be used during construction. Alex, if you'll flip over to the next slide. Oh, back the other way. There, exteriors there somewhere. Okay. So I think if you look at the top of the front elevation, you can kind of see where you're going to how this is going to fit in with the presence. They intend to match the foundation, the siding, and you'll notice that the peak is below the peak of the existing structure. They've chosen windows that match windows that are on the existing structure. They had a wide variety to choose from. They had several dimensional arrangements of windows, but they have worked to be in keeping with the structure as much as they possibly could. In terms of the specific findings, I'm just going to go through those very quickly. We've talked about matching color. They intend to actually, rather than pick from the color palette, to sample from the existing structure and match color off the existing structure. We talked about roof forms already. They do look like they would blend with the original building. The windows are similar. The additions shall not be taller than the original building. And the major horizontal elements shall generally align. And these were all findings during my review that I was able to feel that they had accomplished. And I think with that, it would probably be good to hear from the applicant at this point. I think he might have more to say about the materials that they've chosen to use for the house. The house has experienced renovations over time, so there are different materials that have been used on the exterior.
The general idea of the entire design on this for the addition was to match the house as best we possibly could and keep the original materials intact. We did not want this to look like an addition on the home. Most everything would match from wood windows to the roof. The roof was replaced probably within the last 10 years, so matching that wouldn't be an issue. That should be seamless. Windows would be seamless. The siding would somewhat match. There is an aluminum siding that was added on at some point in the home's history. We were going to match with that. The surrounding residences are, I would say, within the last 10, 15 years they were built. So it has newer materials on the fascia of the home. And this house was built, as best I can tell, in 1939. So we feel as though it maintains the original architectural integrity with this era of home. And the houses next to it, again, are most of them are newer homes with a mixture of siding, vertical, horizontal, board and batten. But we didn't want it to look like there was an addition onto the property. And the reason on the back of the house we went out, there's a large oak tree directly behind the house in the back of where the addition is. It's located. I think you can see it somewhere. It's that round circle back there behind it, right there. Yeah. We wanted to keep that tree. It's a beautiful tree.
Could I ask you just to clarify again what material you're going to use? Oh,
the material is it's called Smart Side. It's a kind of it's a It's a wood product. It's a little bit softer in appearance than a cement board siding is. Again, I think it would blend in real well. Masonite used to be an old siding that just it's not recommended to use anymore. This would kind of be the modern day Masonite to match best with what was in that era for a beaded siding.
Question, Michael. The drawing says the existing boards are 10-inch. Your application says you're going to put in 8-inch. But we thought we were trying to match exactly, the best you can. The drawing says the existing laps are 10 inches.
The existing is actually an old asbestos shingle, and there's a mixture and then there's some additions that were added over the years.
I'm talking the siding.
Yes, sir. Let me catch up.
Okay.
Terry, my drawing says 10-inch.
Yeah, it says, but his application says 8.
Oh,
That's my point. I don't think it's a big point, but we need to understand.
What he's going to put in.
I would say that the designer put a typo on there that the existing is not a lap siding. It's like about a 10 by 24 inch shake, which is an older material.
What you're saying is that the architect's drawing is wrong?
Yes, sir.
When you do this construction, you got to move utility lines and all that stuff, too?
That is correct. There is I've spoken with Duke Power. It now has an overhead. Most of the homes on that street that have been constructed have gone to underground power. It would be my desire to have an underground power put on this home as well.
Or headlines go away?
Correct.
Good for you.
Yes, sir.
can we go back? So is the intention to go with what the application says, which is 8-inch,
Correct.
and that is not the same as what is on the house? Forget what it's made of. What is the size of the siding or shingling?
The siding that I put on the application would be an 8-inch reveal siding, and I now see where it says 10 on the drawing.
And what is the existing? Is the existing 10?
The existing is a shake, a large, like 10 by 24 inch, or 18 inch rather, I think, shake siding. It's the older, large shakes.
So it's not a lap siding at all?
It's not a lap siding. The lap siding that is on the house is on the very far right side of the house.
Okay.
And the idea to go back to a lap siding was to even that out because it's on the right side and we wanted to put it on the left side.
Well, now that you mentioned the right side, I wondered if there was anything in the plan to replace that balustrade over the flat roof on the right side? Put a gable on?
Oh, no, I
No,
considered that, no.
no, I was just thinking about consistency within the house, compatibility.
There's actually an access to that. There's a door upstairs that goes out onto that.
Thought I saw that,
Yeah,
so it is
yeah.
a roof deck.
It is a roof deck,
Okay.
yes.
As long as we're talking about materials, you said that you are going to be using a wooden window? What kind of
Correct.
windows are you putting into the
A wooden
addition?
window. A wood window?
A wood window, so exterior and interior?
Yes,
Not clad at all?
Not clad, no.
And so simulated divided lights?
That is correct.
And regarding the garage, when I drove by yesterday, there appears to be a white picket fence now that goes across the the driveway, would the garage be in front of that, behind it? And if it's behind it, do you plan to take the fence out?
I would adjoin the fence to the front of that. It's literally where that fence line is where I would put the front of the garage and adjoin the fence to the garage.
Any more questions of the applicant? Anyone from the public who wishes to speak? I didn't swear anybody in, but certainly can. So at this point, I will ask for a motion to recess the public hearing and re-enter the regular meeting. So moved. Thank you. Eric Von Salzen made the motion. John Taylor seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, I would like a motion on approving the certificate of appropriateness. Is anyone ready to make a motion?
I can do that for you.
Okay, Terry?
I move that we conclude that the proposed project, certificate of appropriateness number 19-034, if constructed according to approved plans, is not incongruous with the character of the Pinehurst Historic District based on the following findings of fact. And therefore, that the Historic Preservation Commission issue a certificate of appropriateness approving the proposal as shown on the approved plan subject to the following conditions. We gotta
The findings of fact
go to findings of fact. Okay.
first.
First, got it. Proposed addition will not be will not be inconspicuous and will be on the rear of the elevation. Well, they were in both places. So what do you want, will?
It's a side addition.
Okay. So they will not be on the rear elevation. The proposed addition will be of similar scale and character as the existing building. The proposed addition will consist of compatible materials and colors to the existing building. Compatible with neighboring buildings. The roof lines of the proposed addition will blend with the original building. The windows in the proposed addition will be similar to those in the original building. The proposed addition will not be taller than the original building. The proposed addition will have foundations and eaves that generally align with the existing building. The proposed garage will be a single bay and located in the rear of the drive. The proposed garage will be compatible with the main house. The proposed garage will use traditional forms and materials. The proposed project will be congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District. Therefore, that the Historic Preservation Commission issue a certificate of appropriateness approving the proposal.
Thank you. Do I hear a second to the motion?
Question, you want the question before the second or after?
Thought we would discuss the motion. So I will hear a second. Terry Lertz made the motion. Do I hear a second? Second. Eric Von Salzen seconded the motion. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Minor technical item, just with the wording of the motion. I think if I read the drawing correctly, it's going to be a two-bay garage. It will not be a single-bay garage.
Two-bay garage is intended? Okay,
Yes.
two doors. So
Thank you, John.
let's amend the motion to
To include-
approving a two-bay garage.
With that amendment, I have no further questions.
Do the commissioners have any further questions of the applicant? Well, then, are we ready to vote on the motion? So all those in favor of the certificate of appropriateness approval, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, passed unanimously. Thank you very much. You have your COA.
Thank you.
Like your drawings back? It is a lot of paper.
Somebody,
Very nicely done.
I was going to say, I wish that all the presentations we see were as nicely done as this. I wish it had been exactly accurate in terms of, but it was a great presentation.
I'm going to hang on to mine. Okay, thank you.
The next case is COA 19-35, and the owner and applicant is Michael Edwards. Would you come forward? And anyone else who wishes to speak on behalf of the application or neighboring property owners?
Madam Chairwoman, may I move that we recess the regular meeting and go back to
I
the
knew
public
it.
meeting?
Thank you. Got some good prompters here. I need a motion to recess the regular meeting and enter into the public hearing.
So moved.
John Taylor made the motion, Eric Von Saltzen seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Now we'll get to the swearing in. Is there anyone else who will be speaking on behalf of this, regarding this case? Do you swear that the testimony you shall give to the commission shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Thank you. And you are
My name is Michael Edwards.
Michael Edwards. What can you tell us about the project?
We want to add a split rail fence on the Page Road side of our home at 75 Dalrymple Road. Mrs. Lyles asked me to take a picture, which I haven't seen the packet.
It's in there.
A picture from Page Road and have someone standing on the fence line where the fence would be. And I took the picture, but not only can you not see that person, you can't even see the house from Page Road. I hope those pictures were put into your package. This is, we have some split rail fence on that side of the house currently. This will not be contiguous with that, would be in addition to it. Just want another place to let our dogs out. What else would you like to know?
Well, and I did this a little backwards because Kathy should have presented. But
That's
no,
okay,
stay
you were doing
put,
great.
stay put.
I found this an interesting project to review because you really have you have a lot with two frontages, you have a lot with two addresses, so you kind of have two fronts and a side, and it's a combination front yard, side yard situation, so it was a little bit more challenging to review. So that in and of itself would have brought it back for you for consideration, but the other piece of this too is that in this particular case, we've got materials that are not consistent with what we typically want to see. It's not the white picket, it's not the brick. You've got a post and rail proposal that's an extension of an existing fence. And so we felt that did not fit within staff's purview to approve this as a minor work. So we've brought it to you. But we did feel that it probably would not have a negative impact, and I felt that the photograph would help kind of help position where the fence would be, because it really is difficult to tell if you just drive out there to try to figure out where it would be.
I agree with that, because I did drive by both on Page Road and up Dalrymple, and Alex, could you put up the diagram that's in color? Because I also couldn't tell from our black and white version where there's existing fence and where the proposed addition is. So is the red the existing and the yellow is the proposed, or?
The red is the proposed.
Red is proposed, okay.
Red is the proposed, and the house actually sits on a lot and a half, so it's an acre lot. And the back of the other, if you see the corner, if the top corner there's Page Road, there's another fence that comes down to the lot corner. Other side, Alex, right there. There's a fence, that's where that picture of the fence goes across. But again, it's so well shaded, hidden from Page Road.
And the fence will be on the house side of the existing shrubbery?
Oh, yes, of course. And I did talk to all of my contiguous neighbors, one of whom came today, and all of them expressed no concern. And just as this thing coming before your committee, I just opened my eyes to the amount of post and rail fence that's around our community. And as recent as over at Marshall Park, across from the Hall's house, was just put up a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, by the village.
And don't forget the cradle.
And I did a little investigating on that, and because there's a little strip of property between theirs and the railroad, it's not a front. It's the side.
It also is a part of the golf course authority, so that pretty much, it doesn't come to us at all.
I did
You know
question
that,
that.
yeah.
But there is a lot, and my house was built in 1975, and I redid it in 2005, and met for this committee at that point. And certainly don't want to do anything to harm our neighborhood, and I don't feel like this is going to harm my home value either.
And the little angle in the one corner, is that where there's the walkway from the end of the cul-de-sac out to Page Road?
I just couldn't get it all on the map. The lot's actually fairly square, but that walkway is actually in the street, the former street right-of-way for Dalrymple Road that used to connect, if you all remember, Dalrymple went all the way through and was pretty much a speedway through there, and the neighborhood got together. We all got together and got the road closed and got our sense of our neighborhood back. A lot of people don't even know about that little triangle between Midland and Page, but we're there. It's a great neighborhood.
Just as a matter of my own information, was this originally two houses on two separate lots? Or one together? Got two different street addresses?
No, it was a 1975 brick ranch, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 8-foot ceilings, 5-on-12 roof. And I took it down to the studs and redid it and built the garage on, knowing that the street was closed with access off a Page. And changed the footprint just a little bit. But there's a lot of bones of the original house that was there. It was built in 1975. I can't remember the lady's name, but she left it to the Humane Society. Cricket, you may remember who lived there.
I don't. I've been here since '72, but I don't remember who.
And she left it she passed away, and she left it to the Humane Society. And they sold it to the people that I bought it from, Mr. and Ms. William Berry. And I've been there since 2005. I'm glad you came over and looked, though, the other day. Because and if you drove by, you don't even know the house is there from Page Road.
I've even been in the house, but from Page Road, you'd have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
So there will really be no change in appearance because you're keeping that vegetation screen.
We actually, yes, that's correct. And we've added some more, too.
Yeah.
Well done.
You saw that.
Well done.
Are there any comments from neighbors? There's one neighbor. Any comments?
Nothing except for total support. Michael has done nothing but improve the neighborhood with the beautiful job he did on that house. Like I said, I've been there since 1972 when I moved here with my parents, John and Peggy Duro. And Michael's property and our property abuts to that. And I'm going to tell you right now, his home is lovely, it's maintained beautifully, and I can promise you he would do nothing but improve the entire picture of everything with this golf house.
Thank you.
We keep the back gate locked.
They do, I know where the key is.
So at this point, I'm going to remember this. I need a motion to recess the public hearing and re-enter the regular meeting.
So moved.
John Taylor made the motion, Eric Von Saltzen seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
And I would like a motion now on the certificate of appropriateness. Is anyone ready to do that?
I can make that motion. I move that we conclude that the proposed project certificate of appropriateness number 19-035, if constructed according to approved plans, is not incongruous with the character of the Pinehurst Historic District based on the following findings of fact. This request is considered to be major work because it involves minor work items that were not approved by the village planner. The proposed new construction will blend with the local historic district. The proposed fence. The proposed fence will be compatible with the architectural style of structures on the property. The proposed fence appropriate materials at appropriate scale. The proposed fence is congruous with the Village of Pinehurst Historic District, and therefore that the Historic Preservation Commission issue a certificate of appropriateness approving the proposal as shown in the approved plans, subject to no further conditions.
Thank you. Eric Von Saltzen has made the motion. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Jim McChesney seconded the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next order of business is a review of the normal maintenance and minor work items from March 19th until April 15th. Did everyone have a chance to look at that list? Are there any questions, any comments?
We've changed your format just a little bit with the hopes that we could kind of reduce the paper bulk and
And I
still
think
get the
that's
message
fine.
in.
I think that's fine, because if we want to check it out, we'll just go by that address and check it out, and then, at the meeting, we'll ask questions. I think that's fine.
Is the second one, is that at the Magnolia Inn? I did not actually drive by all of those, so.
And I have to say that this was probably issued by Stephanie before she left, so I can't answer that question, although Alex may know. I'm going to look over and see if it rings a bell with him.
Well, the property owner is Pinehurst.
I believe that is actually to screen some mechanical equipment for an addition of a freezer at Pinehurst Brewery.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? The last order of business is to remind you that we'll meet again on May 23rd, 2019. And so I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Have one attendee.
Mr. Hoffman, comments? Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Don Taylor has moved to adjourn. Eric Von Saltzen has seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.